Hey guys, Ritter here, bringing you another 1v1 game. This is, in fact, a Zerg versus Protoss, sent in by our friendly neighborhood Zerg, Venari, the blue Zerg spawning in the upper right-hand corner. And his opponent is the red Protoss Kevbot in the bottom right-hand corner. This takes place on Tall Dream Altar, which is my official favorite map. It's one of the biggest maps that Blizzard has put out, and it generally leads to some decent macro games. And I love macro games. They're just so much more entertaining. The key about this map is that there's 4 Xel'Naga towers in the center, which provide you with some pretty good vision over the center of the map. So pretty much, if you find where your opponent's at, and you put, drones or Zerglings or Zealots, whatever you want to tag the watchtower with, if you put those at the 2 nearest to your opponent, you can pretty much generally spot any time he moves out. So it's a very, very helpful tool in playing a successful game. Yeah, I'm glad to see so many people supporting the lower level scene. I am hoping to at least provide the community with some at least low level analysis. I know my analysis is probably not as good as Day 9's, but I'm still trying to help and provide low level players with a way of getting seen and a way of getting like individually tailored help to their games. And I think I can do at least a decent job at it. Both players are scouting. Venari's getting early gas to get probably early ling speed. And Kevbot's just doing standard Protoss opening. Both players are scouting around. Venari scouted to the wrong side, which, happens. 4-player maps, that's why you scout early. Drop down to spawning pool. But yeah, if you guys want to see more analysis-based casting, or more shout-casted casting, I guess, I'm trying to tailor the Ritter, the Ritter experience to be best for my viewers. So, just let me know what you guys think. I'm here for you guys, so your wish is my command. And I should have the first official anti-cheese video out sometime soon. I'm probably going to do it on defending the 7 pool, and it'll be sort of a 3-part video, each race, how to defend the 7 pool, which I think is the most well-known cheese there is. But yeah, Venari is droning up as usual. He hasn't gotten a queen yet, which he probably should have, especially since he's got 270 minerals. He should have gotten the queen as soon as the spawning pool went down. That's one of the reasons you want to get an early spawning pool, if you're not planning to be aggressive, is to get that early queen, which will allow you to have more larvae. And also he's sitting here with 2 larvae not doing anything. And the Protoss player is just doing pretty basic stuff. He's getting his warp gate out. He's chrono boosting the warp gate research. This is before the patch, so warp gate was still much faster than it is now. And he's just building units out of his gateway, so he can have some defenses. That's what you want to do. Before warp gate finishes, you want to build units out of your gateways, obviously. Venari stole gas, which is a good way of preventing a Protoss from teching up too greedily or getting too many sentries out for an expansion. And Venari threw down an evolution chamber, so he's probably looking to get some upgrades, which is very good. Upgrades are, a key to getting better. You want to be constantly upgrading your units, as that's what's going to give you the edge in fights. And now Venari is getting out his queen. It's a very late queen, which is something he can do to improve. And in order to avoid getting, supply blocked, he built 3 overlords, which is, generally a bad thing to do. But, it's forgivable at low levels. But generally you want to start, if you, in the case of Protoss, in the case of Terran, you want to start your, and even in the case of Zerg, you want to start your supply producing thing. Generally, like, 2 to 3 supply ahead of when you're going to be supply blocked. You want to get it ahead of time. That way you're not rushing to get it out when you need it. Venari is getting the armor upgrade, which is good. I've heard some people argue which is better to get first, attack or defense. I think it's really just personal preference, depending on what your playstyle is, what you want to do. As long as you're getting the upgrades, getting the upgrades is going to be more important than which upgrade you get. And Venari is droning pretty hard, which is good. Getting down the Roach Warren, which is, roaches are pretty good against a expanding Protoss like this. They're going to be a lot better than speedlings, because the roaches can fire to range, so you could possibly get more shots off. And, you know, against early Zealots, which most Protoss are going to have, roaches just annihilate. But the Protoss player here is dropping down a Nexus, which generally, if Venari sees this and he hasn't expanded yet, he might want to put on a little pressure, because Kevbot here has spent a lot of minerals in getting this Nexus down. 400 minerals. That's 400 minerals he doesn't have invested in his army. Which, so if you see your opponent, if you haven't expanded yet, and you see your opponent expand, it might be a good idea to put on a little pressure. Get him a little nervous, see if you can pick off a few of his units, because his army's going to be significantly less than yours if you've kept up with him. And, you know, Venari said he was mistakenly placed in gold, but, you know, regardless, you know, everybody has work to do. And just remembering to keep those injects up, get that queen out early, and remembering to spend your larva. It's gonna keep you, you know, in the black, as it is spoken economically. The Protoss is significantly ahead in supply, and that just goes back to learning to macro. You know, you want to learn to macro with your race's mechanics as best as your race can, and you know, it's just learning the game. And, you know, the goal is just to keep your minerals as low as possible. Venari is doing that now. He's catching up, and but still, he's building units. As Zerg, you want to build units. You want to have an army. In my last few casts, I've said Zerg is entirely reactionary, and that's not entirely true. You want to get to the point where you have an army, but you want to get that economy first. And as we can see here, Venari has around 25 harvesters, which on 2 bases is especially low. And he has been building drones, which is good. And there he is building a triple overlord threat again. But also on the Protoss side, Protoss is not building probes either, because he's supply blocked. So you generally want to build your supply producing units 2 ahead. That's a big important thing to remember when you're, you know, trying to improve. It's gonna help you a lot. If you're building units, you might want to build 2 supply producing structures or overlords, because that will provide, when the pylons finish, you'll have enough supply to keep your probe production up and build another round of units. Venari is sitting here with empty larva, and that is what's leading to this supply disparity overlay. I always forget that. I don't know why. I should remember to put that. I should just put that up in the beginning, but, you know, I always forget. Next time, guys, I won't forget. And just sitting here with larva. The biggest key is going to be spending this larva. The red Protoss is throwing down Twilight Council, which means he's probably going to get Blink Stalkers. Blink Stalkers are, you know, they're pretty good against Zerg. You can win outright with Blink Stalkers if you put on early Blink Stalker pressure, which he isn't doing. But it's just it's a great upgrade to get if you can micro it properly. And Venari here is getting roach speed, so he's looking to be a little bit more mobile with those roaches. At this point, he's pumping out roaches as best he can, but because he's supply blocked, he's not going to be able to get out a big enough force, and I think that's what's going to lead to the Protoss player, Kevbot, here winning the game. Venari's getting burrowed movement. He's researching burrow as well, which is a especially good upgrade. If force fields, you can burrow underneath force fields, which is really good, but the Protoss player is moving in here with, you know, a pretty sizable force. And Venari, I'm sure, can feel his impending doom approaching as this Protoss, you know, death squad marches in and destroys his army. But yeah, I mean, the key is getting this larva spent, guys. I mean, you know, you don't want to be sitting at any larva. And I know it can be difficult to remember, but, you know, just keep practicing. That's my main goal here is, you know, and that's what's going to help you the most is practicing. And hopefully this this series will help people get more motivated to maybe jump back on the ladder and start playing more games. You know, it's gonna help a lot. Is, you know, just practice. And I know a lot of people don't have the time, but, you know, when you do have the time, just get on the ladder. It's a fun thing, and hopefully this will motivate people to get back to it. But thanks, guys, for tuning into another video. this Zerg versus Protoss, and keep a lookout for the upcoming anti-cheese videos. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll talk to you guys later.